here. There are thoughts queuing to come out. There are thoughts queuing to come out. Things to be said from here. Clarify. When he's out, there is energy, there is movement, there is motion. There are things, there are people. Almost rushed back. Sit here. So many things to be said. And yet, only realization, only the realization of what it actually means matters. Not the thoughts about how the realization is reached. How the realization is reached. I have to make a choice. I have to choose. I've always had to. I don't always choose the right thing for me. I create complexity. I see possibility. It's heavy to weigh all that up. So I have to make a choice. I can't help her. I can't even be with her And yet here I am imagining, or not imagining exactly, but experiencing something that gives me an indication of a way of being here that I say I don't want, and yet still enjoy. We're at a strange time. A virus prevails in people's minds, and suddenly, instead of being able to go where she needs to go, the care place, everything's in place, the doors are closed. Fear. They would keep her out for fear that something else might come in, and that's where she needs to go. 3 to 6 months, they say. Sorry, doors closed. So she may have to come back. So might Nicola, with nurses coming in 4 times a day, hiding in my room, letting it all happen, sort of around it but not around it, letting them do it because they can, and they are, moving in between around them, just waiting for something else to change, waiting for the place to be going to be finished, to be ended, whatever's coming. It's not right. Can't wait. Have to be now. Have to live now. Have to be doing something now. Nicola comes. She has to sleep on the cushions on the floor. She doesn't complain. It would be more comfortable for her to have a room, to have a bed. Anyone who was there looking after someone full time with lots of help would need that. I'm in the way. I have that room. It's my room. It's where I live. But I'm in the way from actually getting what she needs. At least until something much more proper. But how to go? It's hard to let go with the idea of returning. It's just, it's very heavy. Makes it very difficult to go. So I'm not going into openness, I'm going into awareness, but with an idea of returning and involved in all of this and whatever. It's too much. I need to just let it all go, just drop it. Just experience what it's like not to have it. And I could even test the water, in a sense, at this time, without committing myself to doing so, in case, I don't like it, I can quickly come back and I'll still be in my room. And it's okay for me to be there. We will work around it, but I know that I'm making it harder by being there. Because I can't do what Nicola can do, I can't do what they can do. I'm sort of now just a burden in all senses of the word. So it's not like these ideas haven't come to me before. I may have talked about them as well. The decision about what to take or what not to take, too difficult, too heavy, still thinking about stuff. When I left here, the stuff I left here, I never imagined that I would ever see again, ever use again, because I just didn't, they just weren't, I couldn't take anything. They all had use. It was all useful at some point. And you would never normally get rid of things that you feel to be useful. But I couldn't need it anymore. I didn't need it. If where I was going worked, then that would have just been my past. That's gone and I can carry on. Because none of that happened, and throughout all of that experience, I am back here with my mother, having the same issues with her that I've always had, maybe worse, maybe because I haven't felt like there was a way out, even though walking away is one. That somehow I'm letting them down. Well, that may be true to some degree, at least a bit earlier, especially going up to Harley Street. It was like that was my job. But I was even saved from that, from having to do that the whole way. It's just too much. It just overwhelms me. It overburdens me. It makes me have to come into the world in a way that I'm not equipped for. A way that I'm not equipped for. That what I'm doing doesn't involve that. It's not about me, it's about her. Well, it's about all of us, I suppose, but this is about her passing. But it's also about my evolving. We're all learning. I'm going through tremendous experiences this time. All that's holding me back is me. And it's probably fear of discomfort, fear of giving up comfort when it wasn't necessary. That in this moment I see that makes sense, but in another moment when I am not in this state, it won't feel so overwhelming, it won't feel so necessary. It could even just be seen as me being silly. You don't need to be silly. It's okay. She would want you to stay here. She wouldn't want you to go. She will end up where she's supposed to be, and there will be help. And I'm not in the same place I was before she left. So if she does come back here, I felt even when I spoke to Nicola, I would be okay with that. But I also realised that my not giving her the number to Mum's account so she could order things, I kept myself connected to it so that she would actually have relieved me of that. There's things that she needs to order and I'll send her. I would have sent her straight away, but this was more important. The details so that she could just place the orders and have things arrive if necessary without having to get me involved. I resisted it, making me feel like I was losing control, losing power. It was a kind of losing, so I held on to it. No, it's all right. Just you send it, I'll do it. But really, it was about feeling like I could do that. I had some power. I could access her account and order something. And I had just recently ordered something for myself, just some fine pens, as I'd started Mandela's again. But I'd used her account for that, because it was getting it here the next day. Not a lot, £7, £7.99. But still I used it. So it felt like there was a power, there was a control. And that helped for me to say, no, it's all right, I'll do. You just tell me what you need, I'll send it. Actually, no, I'll give her the details so that she can do it. So that she can just do it rather than have to think about having to tell me and then wait whether or not I've seen it. There's anxiety for her. I'm actually getting involved. She needs to have the stuff so she could do it. I get that. But I interfered because there was a part of me that wanted to keep this going. Hold on to it. It's very cushy. I don't have to do anything. I don't have any responsibility. I don't need to earn money. I don't have to spend money other than my mum's on a card. I get things in. I don't spend too much. I'm very cautious and careful. I'm not extravagant. It feels like it's my money. It's not my money. It's my mum's money. But yeah, she's going soon and she's not taking it with her. And unless she needs it all, well, that's different. But right now there's some available. And so I just live here. Bills get paid. I don't pay them. I just am here. I go out when I want. Yes, I have some obligations. Can you drive me with you? Of course I will. But it's very difficult if where you need me to go is so hard and you have to do it every day. It's almost like, well, then why are you here? If you can't do this, if it doesn't work and none of this is right for you, why are you here? This is just where I ended up, because this was where I came home. I still needed my mum again. I needed to be around my mum. I needed to see if there was any way it could be different. That surely, because I knew that deep down there was a love. And yet, no, I don't know. No, there isn't. Not that. Nicola cares. Nicola has the ability to care. She'll do it and she'll get on with it. She doesn't want to. I don't have to go past that. If there's something I don't want to do it, I'm not doing that. And I just walk away. I can't do that. I can't do it. Whatever you need to believe, like as Asperger's, I've got whatever it is. These labels, these things, these thoughts that people have about me. It doesn't matter. Just I can't do that. Somebody else will have to do it. I just can't do it. You know, you can't have something and then still be expected to behave as if you don't. So, without the possibility of that kind of thoughts going through my head, where I am somewhere else and not contactable by it, then that makes more sense for me to heal from. You know, and I think leave it here, then there's no point. I don't have to concern myself with carrying a thing and charging a thing that I want to not have to rely on. I don't want to hear from anybody. I don't want contact. I don't want their thoughts. I want to let it go. So I have to let it all go. Just go away. And this is a perfect time. And suddenly I'm not here. I did it to Mum before. He's not here. He's not answering. There's no answer from him. After a day or two, when I've experienced this with other people, it's a process. But what happens if you just disappear? You just have gone. There is no way. Look, he's left his phone there. There is no way to contact him unless he goes online and looks at his email account, which of course I could do at some point, so finding emails there would be interesting, but I probably wouldn't be thinking about using a laptop and technology if I've just let it all go and left it behind. So that might be quite far in the future. There's no way to contact me. I'm doing it by myself. I'm just out there doing it, whatever it is. I can't imagine what it is. I can't imagine how difficult it would be for me to go, okay, that makes sense, so I'll go, all right, bye. And then somehow stay in the moment, decide, okay, so I can only take so much, I can't carry all this shit, so I'll take that. No, I won't be rational, that I won't care. You either have to go with everything, which isn't possible, or nothing. As I am, what I am in. Just go off. I have essentials always on me, but, you know, pick up a hat on the way out. But the more I stop to think about what I might want to take with me, the harder it is for me to actually hold that idea of going. So you just have to sort of grab it and go, and then you accept that that's all you've got, and you're doing it with that. You're doing it from here. I've always got a key on me. There's always a key outside, actually, so I could always come back. Like I discover that was a bad decision. That actually once I come to my senses, once I return to normal, that I'm no longer in the state that I am in, the way it feels at this time. I can't help but return to what is familiar and what I don't have to leave, and I can just let work itself out day by day by day without actually doing anything. I don't have to leave, and it will just happen. And if I did go and I did not come back, if I went, say, tomorrow, Saturday, and I did not come back, to be away till Sunday, to be away Monday, if I get to that point, then I'm probably okay to get to Tuesday and so on. But in the meantime, if along the way or very quickly or whatever, somehow I have to return, I've made a mistake, I can't do this, whatever, no one is any the wiser, really. But even if they are, it doesn't matter. They have no idea why I didn't answer the phone for 8 hours or something. I've done something like this before. I did get caught up in taking boots or not taking boots, or should I just put stuff on and go? And I managed to get, I don't know, 3 hours away, 4 hours away, before I started to come to my senses, and I sort of started to have doubts, and I sat down and I tried to get present again and find that feeling to keep going this way, to not want to go back, to not want what was back there, to really feel like the more I go now, the further away I go, the more I'll long for that. And I've got to go back. I don't have to go. No one even knew I was going. I would just one day had this feeling and off I went. I couldn't carry on. I needed to let it play out the way it played out. I'm sure it would have made things a lot easier for them if I had gone, but I'm trying to live a life as well. I'm trying to live my life, my way. It's very hard for me to live a life where I've got to keep considering other people who I don't understand or who don't understand me. It just doesn't work. Sometimes you get it right, but a lot of the times you don't, and all you need is to get it wrong once, maybe twice. That's it. You can't go back. You've crossed a line that you can't remove. You can't forget these things. It's just what happens. I want an unknown. I know that the universe can support in ways that I cannot even begin to describe. I could see that even Mum, how right everything is. The little anecdote that Nicola said about she felt she had her hand stroked. And I knew that it was Nanny. I didn't say it. She sort of paused for me to go, Nanny. Yeah, I knew it was Nanny, and I'd already told her I'd felt that Nanny is there. Of course she's going to be. Where else would she be? So she's in good hands. I'm just an accessory. I'm just an observer of it. I can't do much. I can't do much for her. All I can do is not cause her more difficulty or make it easier for her. I don't know if Nicola would just use the room. She doesn't even use Mum's room when Mum's not here. She tried it once. She could have done it again. I don't know. She might, take everything off. But there's so much of me in there. It would be, in order to do that, they would have to really think I'm not coming back. And you see that. I'm gone. There's no contact. I haven't answered. Nicola's in Norfolk. At some point she has to come. Somebody has to come. Well, remember, there's a way to get in. So somebody will come. Stephen, maybe. And he'll see that all my stuff is there. And my phone is gone there. And I'm gone. It's like a whole new reality. And I'm somewhere else and I don't have to do this anymore. But I feel like if it was something I really wanted, I wouldn't be talking about it. I'd just be doing it. I feel like I would, if I did that, it would be such a big closing of the door, and she's not even gone, and I'm gone, and of course they won't understand. They'll think I couldn't handle it, I didn't want her to come back. Well, I guess it doesn't matter what they think. They will think whatever they think. I didn't care about that when I went to India, when I just tried to be with Mum before, or I was with Mum before. There was nowhere else, and somehow I had to end up with my mum in a tiny place, much smaller than this. So I had to sleep on the sofa. I knew I couldn't stand it. What am I doing here? I had some very interesting moments, for sure, there. That place. Deborah was an important one, as was Joe. But when I put the keys through the door, I was gone. I didn't think I'd made a mistake. Didn't matter. I was gone. I bought a ticket. I'm gone. When you buy a ticket and you don't tell anybody, or when you just leave and you don't tell anybody, it's very dramatic. It's very powerful because it's unexpected. Even if on some level you're relieved, oh, I'm so glad he's gone. The impact of it, though, is still unexpectedly strange. It still affects you in a way you weren't expecting, even if it makes perfect sense. It's not when there's some of, I didn't want him to go. Why does he didn't have to go. When you're immediately missed, that's a different thing. But I don't think I would be. It was actually, I think it would feel like it was a relief. A big weight, a burden was lifted, because they have to consider me, and I'm very difficult. And I get in the way just by being here, just by doing it the way I do it. But if I wasn't here, then they would do it the way they do it, and there would be nothing about that could in any way make it be influenced by me, get affected by it, so that they would just adjust it. I very much appreciate people adjusting for me and trying to make it easier for me because they care what I'm experiencing. I very much appreciate it. But often, what they think they need to do is based on something I don't even experience anymore. So actually what takes place isn't necessarily the best thing for me. It comes from a very good place, and it's never a bad thing for me, but it isn't necessarily the best thing for me. That's the issue, the problem with being around the people like this too much. That there's no way for me to be all of me. There's no way for me to be kind of whoever I feel I need to be, or whoever I find myself being in the moment, because there's nobody there to compare that Simon with anybody else. They're just seeing me for the first time. I'm seeing them for the first time. I've never had this experience before. Don't know how it's going to manifest, how I'm going to manifest. But if I'm around people who think they know or are familiar with how I do it, and where, as much as, bless them, they try, they just don't understand what it is I'm doing or why. Yeah. I've thought about very dramatic leavings, like going to Beer Israel, doing that again. That was my first dramatic leaving. It wasn't without knowledge. Other people did know it towards the end, but I was just going. And I absolutely had no doubt about the rightness of it. And I was about to experience an amazing thing I couldn't have imagined. I don't feel a calling to do that. I don't feel like I know where to go. I've thought about Israel. I could just go. India. But these are places that have drawn me to before that don't call me now. Just to go. Just to walk off and left, all right, go that way. And keep walking. Just keep walking. Keep going until something catches my eye, or some idea pops into my head that seems to be doable, that would be explain why I'm here, what's the point of this, what comes next. But until then, just be in the present and walk with that idea that this walk does not include a return. It's a one-way walk into the future. That I just noticing the pens and experiencing the irony of having just acquired them, finally, the fine pens, to do the fine work on the mandala, and then just leave it. It's a bit bonkers, but yeah. I'm not my most authentic me. I am still a version of me, and he's not good enough. He's unique, and he's done a lot, and many people have met him, but still he's not authentic enough. Still there is a way of the old structure breaking through, the mental mind, thought-based reality belief-based reality. It's about faith, and I don't think I have much of it. I mean, these are things I've done before. How was I able to do it before and not now? Why is it that who I was up for it, recognized the value in it, and that who I am now just wants to be left alone, just wants a quiet life, just wants it easy? And then what's wrong with that? What's wrong with me wanting it to be easy? Because there's a price. For me to have it easy, for this experience to continue like this, and it might be, if I was to literally move now, it could be that what happens is, instead of Mum coming back here, they actually find her a place. So it wouldn't have made, I wouldn't have needed to include thoughts of I'm in the way because Nicola will need to be here. It would be better for her to be here having her own room than squatting in the living room. But I won't know because I'll be gone. Trying to live that life, opening to that idea, when I think I'd be making it harder for myself physically for no reason. I would be punishing myself for feeling like I have failed to achieve a better way of being. I just wasn't up to the task. And I'm sure they'll forgive me. It's all right, we forgive you. We just want to be able to do it in a way that is better. It's harder with you here, and you can go. You could just go. And they won't think any less of you than they already do. Or maybe they will, I don't know. Why does it matter? They keep sending the signals that it doesn't matter, that they don't matter to me, because I never ask about them. I never ask about anybody. Even when people say, how are you? I say, okay. And they carry on up the stairs. and then they say something else. They don't do the usual, how are you? It's not that I don't want to know. It's not that I don't care. I just don't need those thoughts in that moment. I just need to stay where I am. I don't know. But there's nothing there that I want to hear in that moment, and it's important that I don't facilitate it. If it happens spontaneously, there's nothing I can do. Maybe I'll hear something interesting, but sometimes I feel like I just have to let it be. How are you? I'm okay. Yeah, good. Don't want to know their story. How are you? All right, I had the scan, and I get you have to get all this information which I can't hold or don't want to hold because I can't care that way. I can't care by taking on board their story. I have to care by keeping separate from it, by keeping myself in a separate state, a detached state, so I can see clearly. I can't see with all those thoughts. I can only try to interpret, and that's a thinking process, and I'm not in a thinking state. That's why I don't want their thoughts. When I was asked to leave Greer in Chicago, the night before my plane was due to leave anyway, we hadn't had an argument. There'd been no raised voices, no angry. I don't even really know how we were there, but she had wanted me to go, and so I had bought a ticket to go to see Lou. They had said, come, yes, come. So I had somewhere to go. She didn't want me there anymore, and I was accepting that. And it's hard to remember all of it, and I've talked about it before, so I can't go into more detail. At first, it just seemed like it was too much. Why wouldn't she just take me to the airport? She had said she would take me, but now she just wanted me to leave. You've got to go now. It was 10 o'clock at night, and I don't know. And I went, and I survived. It worked. I found my way. I felt supported. I wasn't alone. But it was very strange for me to do it. I was in a state where I almost I couldn't function. I just had to sort of go on instinct a bit. Just the one clue I had that she had given me was that if I walked up to the station, I would be able to get the train to the airport from there. So one thing she had mentioned. Didn't know how to purchase tickets. I'd never done any of this. But it made sense that I just head for the airport, even though there would be 15 or 16 hours to wait there. Because once I was there, at least I know that the next step is on the plane. I don't want to be trying to find somewhere to stay or trying to figure out. I just needed to stop. I just needed all the thoughts, all the material stuff to sort of facilitate, transition me from there to here, from here to there. I had help. People helped me. But I needed it. I was grateful for it. I would have needed more time to understand what I needed to do. Even though I had time, and I suppose that's probably why I had that time. But actually, I got help. That sort of made my way straight to the airport fairly straightforwardly. Lou's partner said, you should go get a hotel, or get a room somewhere. Don't stay in there. It's uncomfortable. Something. I knew I wouldn't do that. Far too complicated. Because I knew I could stay in the airport. I'd done it before. Uncomfortable as it is, you always manage it. So there was never a moment when I left without a destination. I've always wanted, I've always needed, I've always had destination. Always. Some idea. Even an idea is a destination. I'm going to go there. I don't know about this. I'm just going to go there. But to actually just go with no destination, not knowing what's coming next, having a small pack, dressed appropriately for the weather with boots, and just go and see how long I do it for. If the weather tomorrow, Saturday, is supposed to be a lovely day. So it's going to be very, very dry, not wet at all. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, very, very dry. Yes, it's very wet everywhere. It's all muddy and wet, but at least it will be dry. It'll be chilly at night, but it'll be dry and lots of sun. It's a nice day for a walk. And yeah, it's a nice day for a walk.